There are three fundamentals in life: a roof over your head, food in your belly, and clothes on your back. If it's worth doing, like creating a great meal, or creating a great house, or a great home, a great piece of clothing ranks the same.
Today we're chatting with British fashion icon Jeff Banks, twice award winner of British Designer of the Year. He's been in the fashion industry for over 50 years and we're so excited to have you here. Thank you, Jeff, for speaking with us. We're gonna chat about him, about the new collection he's doing with Pracy, which is really exciting because it's a very luxurious collection, but very affordable as well. So I want to ask you, Jeff, for this beautiful, luxurious collection, have you kept the same high quality standards that you have kept throughout time, especially regarding fabrics?
Yeah, I mean, the reason for working with Pracy is that they also have got a long history, and particularly a history in quality. Not just in quality of fabrics and quality of manufacture, but also a lot of the technicians that actually work in the company have been doing it for a long time. And it's one of those things that finding great pattern makers to work with, great machinists to work with, all of that technical backup and fabric experts to work with, it's becoming a rarity. So that was part of my reason for wanting to work with these guys, because it's inherent in the business.
And the clothes are really flattering. I actually love my dress, which is from the upcoming collection with Jeff, which will be out in spring/summer 2016. So tell me, Jeff, what's your favorite piece?
The one you're wearing.
Oh, exciting! I would love that.
It's almost like a staple that you could pull it out for something which is very smart, so you could actually put it with a hat to go to Ascot, you could use it to go to a wedding, but also it's actually something which is quite relaxed, that you could go out for Friday night with the girls.
Absolutely.
So it's a kind of go anywhere dress. But then again, they're like children. You know, when you actually do a women's wear collection, it's like actually breeding kids, that you fall in love with all of them. I kind of like the little tweed effect suit, although it's a tweed effect. It's a very, very lightweight fabric, so it gives that kind of slight period 50s look about it, but very light and easy to wear, so great for kind of summer events. But the great thing about it is, if you want it as a smart casual outfit, either the skirt on its own with some of the tops that we're doing, or the jacket on its own, just worn with a pair of trousers and a top underneath that. Again, it's another great Friday night outfit.
Absolutely. Even
next to that is that kind of frost-coloured dress. A, the colour, and B, the fabric. And I think this one item for me sums up everything that we're about doing. So it's quality of fabric, the quality of the cut in it, but also if you look at the workmanship in the contrast darts that are in it, not easy to achieve that. You know, you'd normally expect that to be on a dress that's maybe £500 or £600.
Yeah.
Certainly not something around, you know, £125 mark, which is where we're at.
It's
so I think that's the amazing value that we're offering, as well as great quality.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I couldn't agree more with you. What is your inspiration behind this beautiful collection? It's
a lady that I wish I'd known her, actually, because I've been in love with her for years, called Audrey Hepburn.
Oh,
I think Audrey, for me, whenever I'm doing anything in women's wear, I have this wonderful book which has got all of her personal letters in, and all of her contracts, and all of the correspondence that she ever had with her lovers, with the studio.
Wow.
So in all of them, she actually talks about the clothes that she was wearing for a particular event. So I can go back to look at Audrey and think, what would Audrey have liked?
Yeah.
And because Pracy in essence is a kind of petite collection, and Audrey was very petite but very stylish as a woman, a great gamine as a figure, that really, for me, for this collection, is somebody that I've sort of focused on.
And her style is timeless.
Timeless,
Still
absolutely.
Today, she looks fabulous.
Those capri, I mean, we've actually done a capri pant to be worn with little flat shoes that you could wear with this jacket. So everything has got that kind of touch and finish about it.
Love that. Wonderful.
In my day, like for instance, because people like Giorgio Armani I knew, Versace I knew very well. Versace used to do illustrations for me.
Oh wow, lovely.
Giorgio Armani
That's
used to
special.
buy shirts from me when he was a shirt buyer.
Oh, amazing.
And I've known all these guys for a long time, and they used to drive me mad to be on our show because it made sales. When New York Fashion Week was starting, I got a phone call from Ralph Lauren to go to New York to meet him and Calvin Klein and Donna Karan because they weren't going to start New York Fashion Week unless I could guarantee them that they would be on Clothes Show.
So you say this is the most memorable experience from the clothes show?
God, there were so many.
Yeah, so many wonderful years.
I think probably the most memorable for me was the last interview that I did with Franco Moschino when he was alive.
Wow.
And he was seriously ill and he was dying. And his brother phoned me up and said, Franco's really ill, but he'd love to do one last interview with you. So I flew out to Milan with a crew, and he could barely speak. So I said to him what we would do is I would ask him questions that he could just do a yes or no answer to. And we got through the interview, and he was really pleased, and we said goodbye. And he died 2 weeks later. And his brother said to me, could they take the interview and show it at his funeral? And I said, yeah, absolutely fine, that's fine, not a problem. So I went out to Milan for the funeral, and they'd erected a 40-foot screen in the cathedral that he had the funeral in. And they played the interview. Yeah, it was amazing. And it was just a close-up of his face with this incredible glint in his eye, just saying yes and no. It was great. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the most memorable.
Yeah, definitely. But it's so admirable, everything you've done. You've created a really wonderful business. You've done so much in all these years. How did you make it happen? What's the secret?
It's just luck.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to be doing this collection with Tracy. I've wanted to get back into women's wear for a long time. When I sold Warehouse years ago, there was a 10-year preclusion on me doing women's wear. So I kind of grew away from it. But my first love was women's wear. That's what I kind of started in. And I didn't study fashion when I was at college. I went to St Martin's but did textile design. And I opened a shop really to sell the clothes of friends of mine so I could afford a design studio upstairs doing interiors. Sold out on the first day, and luckily the second day a lady called Frida Fairway knocked on the door for a job, and she was Mary Quant's design room manager. And Frida had worked for Sir Norman Hartnell, for Hardy Amies, for Mary, and she literally taught me everything I know in women's wear for years and years and years. So that's my real love. And when Tracy, just at a dinner, I was with a lady called Teresa, who was the MD, and she just leant across over at dinner and said, why don't you do women's wear? And I said, well, because nobody's asked. And she said, what would you say if I asked? I said, I'd bite your hand off.
Well, so, here it is.
And here it is. And it's that
I'm
lucky.
glad.
So yeah, me too. Nothing I would say is part of a plan. I don't contrive to do anything. If somebody asked me and I actually think it would be fun to do and it would be entertaining to do, and that we can produce some real quality and value, then I enjoy doing it. And I learnt the belief from Terry Comran. And Terence, when he started Habitat, it was his belief that if you take something from a drawing to a factory and you can deliver that without any middle people to the members of the public, you create fantastic value. And that's exactly what we do in Precy, because we have our own manufacturing resource, there are no middle people, they're the retailers, so the customer gets fantastic quality and value. And that's what I think is special about what we're doing.
So what has been the most challenging part of building your own business?
I've got the best job in the world, and I've always had the best job in the world, so I've never worked for anybody.
Lucky you.
From the day I left college, I've never worked for anybody else, so I don't know what it's like to work for somebody. So I'm in a fortunate position.
But you've worked very hard as well.
Yeah, because I enjoy it, because it's a
Yeah.
great job. So, you know, I'm in the office at, you know, I leave home at 6 in the morning, I'm in the office by 7:30, I don't leave till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. But it's fun, and I have a great team of people around me that we have fun. And it's not about peculiar, it's not about making money or acquisition or anything like that. You know, that doesn't motivate me. Yeah, it's kind of last on the agenda. What it is, it's actually every day when you put your head on the pillow, did I create some value today? Did I do something worthwhile?
Absolutely.
Recently, when I've been doing personal appearances on menswear, I've had ladies coming up to me with dresses that they bought 40 years ago, saying, "Will I autograph them?"
Well, they're definitely great quality then. Definitely.
Yeah, so it's like, so maybe, hopefully somebody in 40 years, I
Yeah.
hope I'm around 40 years from now.
Well, do my best to be in this
Yes,
size and
okay.
in 40 years be wearing
Yeah,
this
yeah,
dress.
bring it up and I'll autograph
Yeah.
it for you. Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Oh, yes. So what advice would you give, say, to a young person that wants to come to London and study fashion or build their business in fashion or work in fashion? What advice would you give someone like that?
First of all, I think you've got to decide, are you passionate about it? Is this what you really, really want to do? Because if you can't be passionate about it, you're not going to live through the bad times that undoubtedly will come. You can go in and out of business as long as you don't hurt people, as long as you don't owe people money and you upset other people's livelihoods, then there's always a way back. There's always another way. I think the other thing, because I'm president of Graduate Fashion Week, so I have an input into just about every fashion student in the United Kingdom, and a lot of them in Italy and a lot in Amsterdam and so on, that are all members of Graduate Fashion Week.
Wow.
And what I say to all of them is, don't be obsessed with having your own label. Realise your position in the business that you want to be, that you could be a great machinist, a great pattern cutter, a great marketeer, a great PR. Be part of a great team and you'll get fulfillment. You don't have to just have your name in the back of a label. And my last bit of advice to them is, make sure that you can look back on your years in the fashion industry and say, I really enjoyed that, I chose the right industry.
So I always ask this question. I find it I found some quite funny answers. So I'm curious, if you weren't in the fashion industry, what would you be doing?
I would love to have been in a band. Yeah.
Fun, exciting. Have you ever played any instrument?
No, I haven't actually, but I've always had a lot of association with the music industry. I created the concept look for the Eurythmics, I've made clothes for Bob Dylan, for Paul Weller. So I've always kind of been around musicians a lot. And I always used to say to Dave Oak, can I get up on at the back of a concert in Germany or something and make it I'm in the band?
Yeah.
No, you can't, it's our living and you can't mess around with that. So one night he was launching a band in Fulham at a pub, and they were called Anxious, and he said, oh, you must come down to the launch, a really good band. So I went down to support Dave, and after the band had played, Daryl Hall, Jeff Beck, John Oates, and Dave and Robert Plant got up on stage to play, just to gig. So they played for about 20 minutes and Dave beckoned to me and said, now.
Oh,
so
wow.
I got on stage and I have my picture taken with me playing guitar with Jeff Beck, Daryl Hall, Robert Plant and Dave Stewart. And I thought,
fun.
So if I could have done anything in my life, I would have loved that to have been for real instead of being a fashion designer. So that's my that's my rock and roll story.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I like it. So finally, Jeff, what does the future hold for Jeff Banks?
I don't know. I just don't know what's around the corner. I hope this collection that I'm doing with Tracy, I hope it's going to be successful. Only the public voting with their purse will tell. I've got quite a lot of things on the boil in Japan, Australia. I've got 22 of my own shops in China.
Is it women's wear, men's wear?
All menswear at the moment. So who knows? Women's
Are
wear.
you wearing Jeff Banks?
Completely. I only ever wear my own clothes.
Good.
It's like, yeah, even down to my underpants.
Oh wow! Well, there you go.
It's funny. It's like yeah. A lot of designers make the mistake where they actually never wear their own things. And one or two of them have got caught out when they've been interviewed by the press and said, oh, by the way, whose tie is that? Oh, it's an Hermes tie. Well, what's the matter with your own? So I only ever wear my own. It's funny, there's like a new thing in menswear. I hope it's going to happen in women's wear. That grey is the new blonde in menswear. Everybody is booking for shoots, you know, whether it's Esquire, GQ, Japanese magazines. They've all moved into kind of like hiring much older, kind of greying models. I hope that kind of happens in women's wear.
I hope so
because
too.
I think, you know, there's a lot of, this collection is really aimed at women from maybe 30 upwards, 35 upwards, that are 35, 50, 60, that grew up on a feast of fashion. You know, a 60-year-old woman today, you know, she cut her teeth in Topshop.
Yeah.
She doesn't suddenly give up style. She's actually got inwardly that same feeling. And more importantly, she actually wants the feeling of good quality. She wants the confidence that good quality gives you. So she isn't going to change. You know, that's not going to suddenly evaporate. But she looks mature. And if I give any message to any women, it's don't mess around with your features. Don't worry about the lines. Don't worry about the smile. Don't worry about a few wrinkles. It's all part of the character that actually makes you attractive.
Absolutely.
That's the beauty.
I couldn't agree more.
So that really would be my message, and that hopefully a lot of those girls are actually going to be wearing this collection, because that's really who it's aimed at.
Jeff, thank you so much for being with us here at Dialogues in Whitney's Wonderland. And thank you, Tracy, very much for having me to interview Jeff. Very exciting. And thank you to the Blacks Club members, private club here in Soho, for having us as well. It was wonderful, very exciting. Thank you so much.